Hi kiddos, I'm Mrs. Cantrell and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Centerville, Ohio, and I went to school there kindergarten through 12th grade. I then went to the University of Dayton for 4 years where I got my degree in art education. A few years ago, I graduated from Azusa Pacific University with my master's degree in modern art history, theory, and criticism, which is really just a fancy, expensive paper they gave me for being a really big art nerd. I have been teaching at Troy for 12 years. 10 of those years have been at Troy Junior High School, actually like 10 and a half, because my first teaching experience ever was actually in the exact same classroom that I'm in now, where I was a long-term sub for Mrs. McMiller, who some of you may know because she has substituted quite a bit in Troy schools. I'm married to Mr. Cantrell, and he is a social studies teacher at Covington High School. My son Henry is 11, and he also goes to Covington. We live here in Troy. That's a long story, but I have a stepson, Nathan, who is 20 and lives in Clarksville, Tennessee, because he's in the Army. I love TV. My favorite TV show of all time is The Office. I've actually met 6 of the cast members. I also enjoy a lot of British TV, British comedies. I love like the British Baking Show. I love the BBC Sherlock series. I don't know. I love to binge watch TV. When it comes to music, unlike my husband, I actually listen to some modern artists. Like I love 21 Pilots, Billie Eilish, and Khalid. But I also, my musical interests span a whole great length of time in a whole lot of genres. Like I absolutely adore Missy Elliott, a singer-songwriter named Regina Spektor. I love Joni Mitchell. I love Tracy Chapman. When I need some smooth jazz music, I love Harry Connick Jr. I also love like my 90s rock music, such as Incubus. So I have a very large breadth of music that I enjoy. Let's see here. I also have a couple of favorite sports teams. We're a football family, and so I'm pretty sure it was in my marriage vows somewhere that I had to be a Browns fan. I married a very hardcore, loyal Browns fan, but I am a Colts fan by birth because I was actually born in Indianapolis. I love food. Chipotle, I could eat it every day. I am very skeptical about people who prefer hothead. Something right there. I love chocolate chip cookies. It's probably like my favorite dessert of all time. And I also very much love chicken biscuits from Chick-fil-A. I get one every Tuesday morning because I hate Tuesdays. And so it helps to kind of get me through. My favorite color is green, all shades of green. I also love orange. It's a close second, but green's definitely still first. My favorite artist is a funky French guy from the early 20th century named Marcel Duchamp. But my favorite living artists are Marina Abramovich, who's a crazy performance artist who is famous for sitting in a chair, and Banksy, who's a famous graffiti artist. And you'll see a lot of his work around my room and on the canvas pages. I also love this bizarre, very rich artist named Damien Hirst. He does some pretty cool things. My favorite book of all time is a collection of essays by Robert Fulghum called All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. It's a great book. I would highly recommend that if you're looking for something good to read this year, find a copy of that book. I know Mrs. Clauser actually has some copies of his work in her collection as well. But his essays are just little bite-sized stories from his life, and they're truly amazing. I have a lot of favorite animals, but like my top favorite animal would have to be a flamingo. And then there's squirrels, because I really love feeding the squirrels in my backyard. And I'm also a cat person. I like dogs. In fact, I begged my parents for a dog when I was growing up. But I have somehow ended up being a cat person as an adult. So that's about me. I can't wait to learn about you. Thanks.